Hi traders, welcome to our weekly top-down analysis. So we are beginning with volatility 101S. As always, we begin analyzing from the weekly time frame by marking our supply and the demand zones. If we are to minimize, we can see price is reacting from this supply zone. And then down here we have our demand zone. Therefore, our bias is very clear from the weekly time frame. Price is moving from the supply headed to the demand zone. Therefore, we'll be looking for selling opportunities decides to until price decides to break through that supply zone. Then we'll change our bias. Heading over to the daily time frame. From the daily time frame, we have this break of structure. So we have a break of structure right there. We have a break of structure, and then we also have this internal break of structure. Therefore, this is what we'll be using the order block for this internal break of structure, because I'm seeing this break of structure down here as liquidity area. And then the order block which caused the break of structure, it is that order block right there. That's it from the daily time frame, heading over to the 4 hours time frame. So from the 4 hours time frame, there is where our order block is. And then our break of structure is at that point. And then this break of structure is going to be at that level. Therefore, we have our confluences intact. We have this liquidity that was sitting here, that price swapped, and it's still going over to tap into our order block. So I'm expecting for price to go and tap into that order block, and then we'll get a move to the downside. And then heading over to the 1 hour time frame. From the 1 hour time frame, our order block will be at that level. So if you want to take the trade with me, these are the coordinates for the sell limit. So go ahead and place a sell limit on volatility 101S with your entry price at 1487.16, stop loss at 1610.31, and your take profit at the swing low at 1135.69, and always apply proper risk management. So I've been waiting for this trade. We finally swapped the liquidity. It has been over a week. We are still not yet at the order block. So for these setups, you have to be very patient. I've been waiting for these setups for the whole of last week, and price is still not yet at the order block. That's pretty much it on volatility 101S. Moving over to volatility 100. Volatility 100, we can see price just stepped into this weekly demand zone, and then our supply zone is right there. Therefore, our bias is very clear from the weekly time frame. We can see the buyers stepped in and reformed the tweezer bottom to indicate the buyers are ready to push the price up. So that is a tweezer bottom from the weekly time frame. Heading over to the daily time frame. Heading over to the daily time frame, I can see we have a break of structure right there. So we have ourselves a break of structure. So we have a break of structure, and then the order block which caused the break of structure from the daily time frame. It is that order block where price is coming back to mitigate. Heading over to the 4 hours time frame. So from the 4 hours time frame, adjusting our order block to the 4-hour time frame is going to be at that level there. And then our take profit for this trade is going to be at that swing high. Heading over to our entry time frame, which is the 1 hour time frame. So our order block is going to be at that level. Our order block is going to be at that level. But let me study the price action to see if all the other blocks at this level were mitigated as price was moving up, because we might be trading from a liquidity area. So for this trade, I can see this order block was not mitigated. Therefore, I'm now going to be focusing on this order block because I'm seeing that as liquidity. Since this order block was not mitigated, I'm going to mark this as the liquidity that price has to sweep before it can tap into my area of interest, which is this order block down here. An order block right there. So we have this internal break of structure with the order block unmitigated. Therefore, everything is intact, the break of structure, unmitigated order block. Now I'm just waiting for price to clear the liquidity here and then tap me in and then expect a move to the upside. So this is what I'm anticipating to happen. So I'm going ahead to place a buy limit for this trade. So if you want to take the trade with me, go ahead and place a buy limit on volatility 100 with your entry price at 697.34, stop loss at 659.2.52, and your take profit at 806.86, and always apply proper risk management. So that's pretty much it from volatility 100, heading over to step index. So step index, if you minimize, you can see that price is in a downtrend as we are forming lower lows and lower highs. Now we do have a demand that is forming down here, and then our supply zone up there, but price is far from that level. And then I can see we have a break of structure right there. So we have a break of structure, and then the order block, which caused the break of structure from the weekly time frame. It is that order block where price has stepped in, and we are forming a tweezer top formation to indicate the sellers are ready to step in, and we are going to hold our trades until this demand level. So this one is going to be a swing trade. Heading over to the daily time frame. From the daily time frame, that is where our order block is, and price has just stepped in. We formed a bearish engulfing, and we are getting a push to the downside. So our break of structure is right there, and then if we go over to the 4 hours time frame, we can see that that was the last break of structure to the upside before price stepped into that supply zone. So we have a break of structure, and then we have a change of character right there. We have a change of character to indicate the sellers are stepping into the market. So we have a change of character, and then the order block which caused the change of character. It is this order block right there where price has just stepped in and formed a tweezer top. We formed a tweezer top and we're getting a push to the downside. Heading over to the 1 hour time frame. So price stepped into the order block, and then we are getting a push to the downside. So the change of character happened at that level right there. And then right here, we have a break of structure. So we have a break of structure, and then the order block which caused the break of structure, it is this order block. It is that order block right there. Let me just adjust my break of structure. All right, and then we have the liquidity that is forming right here because we have equal highs and equal lows. So now I'm anticipating for price to clear the liquidity that is forming here, where we have equal highs, to sweep this liquidity to go and tap into my order block and then expect a move to the downside because the overall trend is bearish and my first take profit is going to be at that level. So if you want to enter this trade with me, go ahead and place a sell limit on step index with your entry price at 8048.9, with your stop loss at 8065.6, and then with your take profit at 7977.1. All right, traders, that is for this analysis. If you did find the episode helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel and become part of the family. And have a profitable trading week. See you next week and happy trading.